Claire Rivers liked being invisible. Not the kind of invisibility you'd get from magic or technology, just the ordinary, everyday invisibility of a small-town girl working behind a counter in a little bookstore on the edge of the city. She was comfortable in her quiet life, dusty shelves, second-hand novels, and the smell of coffee brewing in the corner. Her co-workers often teased her for turning down invitations, for choosing an evening with books over people, but Claire didn't mind. The world had already taken enough from her, her parents in a car accident when she was 18, the dream of going to college when the bills piled too high, and the confidence to believe she belonged anywhere outside the worn, narrow aisles of her store. That's why she noticed the Bentley immediately. It didn't belong in her world. The sleek black car glinted in the midday sun like an omen, its tinted windows hiding the kind of life she never touched. And then the man stepped out. He moved with quiet authority, not the arrogance Claire sometimes saw in wealthy customers, but the kind of calm that made people step aside without being asked. He was tall, with dark hair combed neatly back, and a suit that looked more expensive than the entire store's monthly rent. And he was walking toward her. "Miss Rivers." His voice was deep, deliberate. Claire froze halfway through shelving a stack of romance paperbacks. "Yes. My name is Adrian Blake," he said. "I need your help. And I don't have much time to explain." She blinked at him. "I think you might have the wrong person." "I don't," he said simply. "This is going to sound strange, but I need someone I can trust. And I think that's you." It turned out Adrian Blake wasn't just any wealthy man, he was one of the city's most talked about billionaires, a quiet success story who had taken a struggling shipping company and turned it into a global empire. He was also, apparently, about to attend his sister's wedding in 2 hours. "I need a date," he said, sitting in the back of the Bentley as Claire hesitated on the curb. "Not a romantic one, just someone real. Someone who doesn't care about my money or my name." Claire laughed nervously. "And you think that's me?" "I saw you help that elderly man cross the street this morning," Adrian replied. "You didn't know anyone was watching. You didn't rush him. You didn't look annoyed. People like you are rare." The words lodged somewhere in her chest. No one had ever called her rare before, at least, not in a good way. "I have a sister," Adrian continued. "She's marrying a man I don't trust. I need someone there who can see things I can't. People talk differently around someone they think doesn't matter. And you think I don't matter?" He gave her a small, almost apologetic smile. "I think you matter more than anyone else in that room will realize." Against all reason, Claire found herself nodding. 2 hours later, she stood at the grand entrance of the Ashworth estate, wearing a soft blue gown Adrian's assistant had somehow produced in exactly her size. The chandelier above her sparkled like frozen rain, and the air smelled faintly of roses and champagne. People stared. Claire felt their eyes flicker over her, cataloging every detail, the simple hairstyle, the lack of jewelry, the fact that they didn't recognize her. Whispered questions floated just out of earshot. Who is she? Why is she with him? Adrian stayed close, his hand light on her back. "Ignore them," he murmured. "They'll get used to you." But they didn't. Not really. As the evening unfolded, Claire noticed little things, the way the groom, Daniel Pierce, seemed distracted when Adrian spoke, his eyes darting toward a man in the corner, the hushed conversation between the groom's cousin and a catering staff member, the tension in Adrian's sister, Emily, every time Daniel touched her arm. Claire wasn't a detective, but she was a reader. And people, she knew, were stories waiting to be read. Near the garden doors, Claire paused to admire the fairy lights strung across the hedges. That's when she heard it, a hushed voice, low but urgent. "After the honeymoon, we move the money. She won't notice until it's too late." She froze. The voice was Daniel's. Claire peeked around the curtain, her stomach tightening. Daniel stood with the same man she had seen earlier in the corner, the one he'd kept glancing at during dinner. What about her brother? The man asked. Daniel's lips curled in a smirk. By then, Adrian will be too late to stop it. Claire could have walked away. This wasn't her world. This wasn't her family. But when she looked toward the dance floor, she saw Emily, laughing politely with guests, her eyes dim with a sadness only another woman might notice. She went straight to Adrian. I need to talk to you. Now. By the time she finished telling him, his jaw was set like stone. Stay close to me, he said. And no matter what happens, don't leave my side. The wedding ceremony was moments from beginning when Adrian stood, his voice cutting through the murmurs. Before we continue, there's something I need to address. The crowd shifted uncomfortably. Emily looked confused. Daniel's smile froze. Adrian turned, not to Daniel, but to Claire. Miss Rivers, would you join me here? Every head turned. Claire's heart pounded as she stepped forward. Tell them what you heard, Adrian said quietly. The room went still as Claire repeated Daniel's words. Gasps rippled through the guests. Daniel sputtered, denying everything, but then, from the back of the room, a man in a dark suit stepped forward. I work for Mr. Blake, he said, holding up a small recorder. We have the conversation on tape. The groom's words. Daniel's face drained of color. But then, in a twist Claire never expected. He turned to her, his voice trembling. I didn't mean for you to hear that. Ma'am. The way he said it, with fear, with sudden respect, with the weight of someone realizing they had underestimated her entirely, sent a hush over the room. In that moment, Claire understood. This wasn't just about stopping a bad marriage. It was about being seen. The wedding was called off. Emily hugged Claire with tears in her eyes, whispering, You saved me. As guests quietly dispersed, Adrian walked her out into the cool night air. You didn't just help my sister, he said. You reminded me that not all the good people are gone. I meant it when I said you were rare. Claire smiled faintly. So, do I go back to my bookstore tomorrow? Only if you want to, Adrian said. But if you're willing, I could use someone like you in my life, someone who sees the truth when others don't. And for the first time in years, Claire felt like maybe, just maybe, she belonged somewhere new.